Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, June 2nd, 2024, and this is our meeting of the Continuing Committee Board of Directors. My name is Charlie. I am the current chair of this board and the director of First Edition. I will go around and have everyone introduce themselves in the order you appear on my screen, starting with Justin.
Justin, Director of Finance. Resistance is futile on the boards.
Right, I am also Midnight Lich on the boards. I forgot to say that. Adam, why don't you tell us just who you are real quick, and then we'll get into detail about that in a minute.
Yeah, Adam Barger, incoming ops director, A Barger 7510 on the boards.
Nice. Gotta love the straightforward um, usernames. Christopher.
Hey everyone, I'm Chris Sonsteby. I'm the Director of Organized Play, and I am lore on the forums.
Maggie.
I'm Maggie Geppert. I am Jedzia Dex8 on the forums, and I am the executive officer.
All right, last but not least, PJ.
I'm Chuck Ort, Director of Second Edition, Chuck on the board.
All right. Our first order of business today is approving our minutes from last month. Has everyone had a chance to review them? This vote will not be with Adam, sorry. And would anybody like to move to approve those minutes?
I'll move to approve as amended.
What amendment were we doing?
That was the change of the wording. I think there's a word jank or something in those minutes or something.
There was an objection to the word jank from a member of the public. So
Easy
I will second the motion.
All right. All of it in favor?
Aye.
Indicate positively. Justin?
Right.
I'm also in favor. So the minutes are approved unanimously. All right. I'm going to do things a little out of order, just due to some logistical needs. We have Adam here with us. Adam has been selected as our new director of operations, as Brian Scheffline has stepped down. Real quick, we need to approve his appointment. So I would like to do a roll call vote here to get Adam approved as our new director of operations. So I will start with Justin. Do you approve?
Yes.
Okay. Chris?
I approve the appointment.
PJ?
Yes.
Maggie? I also approve the appointment. So, Adam, welcome aboard as our new director of operations. 5 approval, 1 abstention. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah.
Real quick, so everybody can get to know you.
Sure. So been playing since I got a 60 card starter deck of White Border 94 in my Christmas stocking when I was 10. Played with some friends until they decided that Magic and Star Wars were easier. So collected for a couple years. Got back into it in college when 2E came out, which made those complexity objections a little easier. Also, you could play online, which was cool back in those days. Then career, grad school, all that kind of stuff got in the way, and have been back playing 2E online and 1E locally for a couple of years now. Just from a personal standpoint, my background professionally is in business and financial operations, a lot of project and program management adjacencies to those jobs. So this was a good fit, I thought. This is a department where both the website as well as shipping, I see as like front porches to the community that have a lot of public impact. So it's a big responsibility. I take it really seriously, and thank you all for entrusting me with it.
Well, thank you for being brave enough to join us.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure.
I'm excited to see what can happen now. We've got some issues to fix. Obviously, we'll talk about that, but now we have somebody at the helm. No offense to Brian. I know Brian did a great job while he could, but real life has completely overwhelmed him. So moving on. Let's get into the
Yeah,
department.
he's like, yep, he couldn't make it to yesterday's 1E regional because he had time. He was pre-registered and then he got sick. He's like, and we're all like, wah, wah.
Oh, that sucks. All right. Let's get into our department reports real quick. Has anybody posted the link to this meeting at all? Has anybody had a chance to do that to the public? I can do it. It's just I'm gonna actually let me do it. I'll start Chris off. Chris, give us your OP report first by request, and I will go post meetings to various places.
Sure. Organized play is kind of in the thick of it as this meeting's being held. We've now been running regionals for about a month and a half, 2 months. And I did a quick count since our last meeting. There have been 60, I think, 60, almost 70 tournaments across the globe. A lot of them online. And I mean, I usually rattle off all the places, but you can imagine a lot of people are playing. Just if you're not playing locally right now, you might not be trying very hard to, or you just maybe like Brian had an illness or something. But yeah, we're I'd say knee deep in the online regionals right now. We had really high attendance for the first set of second edition and first edition constructed events, and now we are into kind of seal deck with Maggie's help and with John Carter's help. We've got card pools out of kind of a weird rainbow, I guess. It's dangerous missions and rainbow packs on the 2E side. And is it enhanced premiere? I think I'm trying to remember. I think it's enhanced premiere and rainbow on the other side. And I just played my first second edition game, and I mean it's chaos. Like I was trying to find people who could even staff my ships because you got Ferengi with Dominion, with Klingons, with Romulans, with Feds, with Starfleet. It's all over the place. Fun time. But yeah, so online we're gonna do 4 more regionals. We'll have some type of limited constructed as the next wave. And I know Maggie's got the Tribbles ones lined up. And then otherwise for organized play, our big push in the next month and a half is Continentals. We've got European Continentals is happening in July. And then North American Continentals is happening, I think, a couple weeks later here in Sioux Falls. So we're excited to get those events going and hope to have a lot of people come out and play in all of them. So if there are any organized play specific questions, feel free to shoot me a PM or any one of the organized play team, and we'll get right on it. That's all I have.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to traveling to Sioux Falls. I finally got a weekend to travel for Sioux Falls for Continentals. Cutting Continentals promos is my next thing. So, but Charlie, why don't you go ahead? That's it for Chris. That's all the comment that I have on organized play.
Well, since you're talking, did anyone else have anything for OP? Can I move on? All right, Maggie, since we're talking, you're up.
Okay. Terms of things that I'd like to get done and are the 5, our long-term plan and my project for making videos about using our site. Those are still on the back burner, although since our last meeting, I finally finished eating the giant turd sandwich that was my spring 2024 semester. So I actually have a little more time for Trek now. I actually kind of don't know what to do with that right now. So this week I had time for deck building and promo making. So that's been what I've been up to for the last 2 months.
All right. I heard a great new saying, variant on a saying at work the other day, which was, just because we got served a turd sandwich does not mean we can't have awesome sides. So this was in the context of IT, where naturally admins and managers are making terrible decisions that we then have to adapt to. So I heard that and I thought that was really clever. So
and in government, let's not forget that.
And in government, yeah.
That you're in government.
State government management. It's just thrilling. So I suppose that segues into my turn for first edition. If you are not aware, we are currently in the midst of spoiling Life Signs, which is our going on 5-year-old project to boost up the Vidians. If you're curious how fast things move, sometimes it takes 5 years. But I'm thrilled with how the reaction has been, both on the site and in our Facebook page. People seem to really be buying into what we were trying to do. I had somebody say in a thread the other day they were excited to play Vidians for the first time ever, and I consider that the whole point, since the whole point of our expansion was making the Vidians, new and flavorful and fun, I consider that the highest compliment we could have gotten. I want to play them now. There was a little negativity early on from some of the usual suspects, but I'm really happy with the work that we did, that the team did. There were 6 of us. I'm excited for it to come out and have an impact on the environment. The DNs were designed to be a speed bump, in the game, and that's one of the reasons we sort of pushed them to the top when it wasn't really their time yet, to get them out. So I'm curious to see how it affects regionals. If the super speed drag racer decks feel that they need to slow down, or they're going to let the Vidians just run with them. Yeah, if you're not familiar, that's their basic mechanic, is that they go as fast as you go. So the more you draw, the more you play, the more the Vidians get. And if you slow down, then everybody's slowed down, and it's an even-paced game. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Work continues behind the scenes on Project Mandalorian. That's our first of several AU/Q content expansions. We're slightly trying a new development model now where we're not sticking to set sizes anymore. Like, our goal always used to be, we want to put out a 30 card set or a 27 card set. We're not doing it anymore. Our goal is now we want to put a set out in September. So when we get to the end of the testing window, whatever is ready and whatever is not ready gets pulled. So we did the first round of that recently, took about a dozen cards out that hadn't been looked at and weren't being tested. The advantage to doing it this way too is we're building up a library of partially tested cards that can be yanked to go into a parachute in the future, or like a drop release to help keep the schedule more consistent. So Mandalorian will be the next set out, probably post Worlds. And the work for all of our 30th anniversary stuff continues at frantic pace, because that is less than 6 months away, which is a terrifying sentence that I just said. So, yeah. And Tribbles Bad Brood Rising came out. I've heard pretty good things so far. You can still score a lot of points, but you're doing it in an honest way now. So I don't feel like that's quite as bad. We will continue to keep an eye on it. And I'm already putting together a design team for the next project. So that's really all I've had to say there, unless someone else has questions.
Oh, the article tying life signs to plugging organ donation. Whoever idea that was, that's really awesome.
Yeah, that was Ducat, Andreas Rhinelander. He's at MD, and that was his idea, and we all decided to run with it. So yeah, I should have mentioned that. Thank you, Justin. Organ donation was a bit of a topic in Star Trek with the Vidians, not quite in the context that we approve of, but if you can sign up to be an organ donor, please consider doing so, because it will save a lot of lives. All right. Thanks.
Yes. My only question is, who's Dareth? And whoever that is, thanks for all of those cool articles. It's been fun to read all the posts and the articles that are coming from this anonymous person. It's not me. I wouldn't say that if it was me.
I mean,
I think I know who it is, but
I know who's writing it, but I'm not telling you. It's a Vidian from the future brought back to answer our questions about life signs. So
It's been a pretty fun gimmick. That's all I'm saying.
It is a great gimmick. I like it. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to my counterpart, Shark, for the TUI report.
Yeah, so for TUI, we set in motion our Weedian expansion. So it has passed playtesting and is now creative and art is mostly done. And we are just looking for the perfect time to host the set so that it doesn't impact big tournaments for too much. But I checked, we have the European continents, we have the worlds. So we find a way to host this as soon as possible. Playtesting is done, so this will be the next TUI set and the first new not new affiliation for TUI since the beginning when I'm right. The Weedian is coming next, I suppose within the next 6-8 weeks latest. We have started testing Project Hamlet. Project Hamlet is a set we set in motion about 1.5 or 2 years ago, where we decided to split the cards on the TUI side that has from the movie area that have Earth and TOS icons. For design reasons, we want to separate those, and this causes some gaps, and this set Project Hamlet is to close the gaps and make the cards we already have playable. So we just have, I guess, 14 or 15 cards that have TOS and Earth icons, and they now get the Earth or TOS icon that causes some gaps, and we close it with a new set Hamlet. And when Hamlet has passed playtesting, it is in playtesting now. We do a set of errata for these cards with the double icons. It was mainly because it gives the designers more options so that they do not have to think about what happens on the Earth side, what happens on the TOS side with dual cards, and giving movie area cards an own flavor. That will be the next set in line. After these, the project line is open. We have some other things we have in the pipe we can do, but we are not sure where we go and what will be the next one. So Weedians and Hamlet is fixed. Then is around the beginning of next year is 30 years Voyager. The set is also fixed. We started to set in motion the Cindy affiliation. So the Cindy affiliation will show up in 2025, hopefully, more at the end, or at least go to play testing. We have a team of 4 designers with different backgrounds working on the Cindy. I already had a meeting about Cindy and what could be ideas for Cindy, what can be special rules for them, special affiliations. So that will be very interesting. And on the 5-year timeline here from the TUI side, there will be a new affiliation, hopefully every year. Yeah. So this year the Weedians, next year the Cindy. We have other ideas in the pipe for 2026. That is the idea. If it works like I want to do it, we will have an affiliation like Weedian that Wani has. We have Cindy, an affiliation that Wani does not have. Then we will have an affiliation that Wani have and TUI does not. Then we have a totally new affiliation. That's the main agenda for the next 4 or 5 years. Every new year, every new upcoming year, a new affiliation, and then switching between a totally new affiliation and a affiliation that Wani already has. Because I realized that when we started to do Weedians, some people want playing Wani and said, okay, we want this and this also on the TUI side. That is a little bit challenging. I can understand that. And so the Weedians will totally different because it is not in Wani. And I want this to give us more space to say, okay, this is original. This is a compromise between Wani and TUI. Yeah, that is all from my side.
Any questions for Tui? Okay. Next up, we will go to Adam. You've officially been on the job for about 20 minutes, but I know you've unofficially been working a little longer. So
Sure.
tell us about what's going on in the world of ops.
Yeah, from an ops perspective, biggest news is Remo Giancola has been named shipping manager, and onboarding him and getting the warehouse running again has been my top priority, particularly now that I'm official as of 20 minutes ago. Warehouse items are scheduled to begin arriving at his location this week. From there, we'll start taking an inventory of what items he has in his possession, start cross-referencing that with the order backlog, and then that'll tell us how we can start reducing that backlog as quickly and efficiently as possible. The age order backlog is significant. It'll take some time to get through. I appreciate the community's patience with that, but it's really important that these incentives are getting out to players and tournament directors quickly, because they're less effective when they're not coming out as quickly. So we will get through that as quickly as we can once he's up and running. From a programming and website standpoint, I'll be holding some staff meetings. Staff meetings aren't scheduled yet. I'll get them on the calendar. But from my perspective right now, onboarding programming resources to help Marcus is the top priority from that perspective. And we just need to identify what areas he needs the most help with. And that'll tell us the best plan of attack for getting that help. And then ultimately, getting up to speed on the short-term and long-term projects that are out there. I don't have a ton of awareness and insight into that right now. I need to get up to speed on that, start figuring out how those projects need to be prioritized, and then develop a roadmap for implementing improvements and new technologies and all that good stuff that will help the community experience. So that's where I'm at from an ops perspective. And of course, any feedback, suggestions from the public community, please reach out to me. This is the perfect time to get an idea of what people think is working, what's not working, what we could do better.
Thanks, Adam. That's great to hear. I know a lot of the frustration with the warehouse has been not only the delays, but the lack of information, lack of updates. So the fact that things are moving now, I hope, is a good sign. And then obviously it won't be fully addressed until we've cleared that backlog and have the promenade back up and running.
Yeah,
reliably.
and I'll provide updates as to how we're doing in clearing that backlog along the way. I plan to track those metrics and report them as needed once we start making progress, because that's how I can hold myself accountable, how we can as a team hold ourselves accountable.
Yeah, perfect. Outstanding. Any questions for our newbie or probie, I guess? So.
All right. Well, I just wanted to let Adam know I do have a box full of tournament kits and regional kits sitting down by my feet right now that also this week will be going to Remo.
Perfect.
So,
thanks.
Yeah, I've got I will be cutting and assembling Continentals promos this week, and I'll just send those directly. Julius asked for a box of stuff. He's got another regional he's scheduled. So I was going to send him Continental stuff. I was going to send Kaiser his Continental stuff. And then also Kevin will get his. So the only thing I'm missing is mats, which are apparently coming my way. And I have a couple of Masters kits to send out also. Unfortunately, the ones for the ones that were supposed to go to Birmingham, Alabama never showed up. And it was stupid me on a stupid Monday where I hadn't had enough sleep. I forgot to buy tracking for that one package. So the one time I don't get tracking is when it disappeared. So that's in terms of production, that's where I'm at. So I'm me and my buddy Eric are your promo production team. And Eric is a machine. So we'll try, I'll be seeing him today. So I'll hopefully see if we're going to schedule another time to do a scrapbooking party.
Perfect,
He
Maggie.
likes
Thank you.
he loves to do the thing that I hate, which is black the edges of the promos.
That was always my job. So,
Yeah, he's much better at it than me and doesn't mind getting a big black line across the palm of his hand.
yep,
That's
occupational hazard. So,
Yeah, that's helpful, Maggie. And I think dividing the backlog into what's OP related versus what's all of those old raffle prizes related will help us get through both those populations as expeditiously and efficiently as we can. So that's a great look at it, and that's one thing that we can use in order to sort of get this down to as small of a backlog as possible.
we probably also longer term want to look at bringing on another group of people to do promo production again. We used to have 3 or 4, and now we're down to 1. So we should probably look to turn that back on.
I think getting some flexibility from a sort of like just-in-time supply chain standpoint would only help benefit us because, like I said, the longer it takes for people to get incentives, the less they work.
Yeah. And it's going to take us time to rebuild trust in the promenade. So everything we can do to get things stable and keep them stable will be important. So
I agree. I agree.
All right, let me kick this over to Justin, and then we will move on to other business.
Yeah, basically, the past 2 months, we have been pretty stable on the financial front. We did end our 7th year since the restructuring of the organization. Can't believe it's been 7 years. That's a long time. So our fiscal 2024, we did see a huge improvement on expense control. We were up 14% in income, while also down 8% in expenses over 2023. 2024's playmats, of course, for the high level play were ordered in the month of May, which is typically our highest expense of the year. And so that is on the books for this new year. And then the only really other last item, of course, is our buttons, and those are coming as well. Those don't take as long in production for the company that we use, so that's good. As of 4:30, we did the actual number. We did finish about 1,900 over expenses for the year, so that's awesome. And all of our reserve targets are on track and are current as of the end of the year, and so that's amazing. And the other thing, non-finance related, of course, did lead the search to find our new director of operations. So again, thank you to Adam for stepping into this, and it's going to be amazing to see what he can do. And thank you to Brian for all of your hard work over the years with the organization as well.
Indeed, we cannot say enough about Brian and his hard work. So, Justin, we haven't had a financial report posted since December. Do you have any plans to get that updated?
Oh, yep, the quarter did end. So the quarterly updates will be going out later today.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to some old business. Where did that go? All right. Well, we've already confirmed our new director. Somebody did ask me why that was under old business and not new business. Well, because the search for the director was previously created, and this was the culmination of that. That's why I listed it there. But we did it already, so it doesn't matter. I did want to briefly talk about the long-term plan. Because I know Maggie has been just insanely swamped with her turd sandwich of a job. But I would like to help. We need to get something started. I feel a little bit like we're waiting for the perfect moment and the perfect plan, and that perfection is the enemy of progress. I can't tell you how many times I've been working on something and haven't just worked on it because it's not perfect. And that's just madness. So what I would like to do, Maggie, is sort of discuss what we can do as like a first goal. If you're on board with a little bit of help, just to get us started here.
Yes, please. So I think that mostly the first goal, I think, needs to be, before we start making plans, input from the public. Like what do people want out of this community, and sort of just like we have a little bit of a we have a mission statement-ish, and I hate to get into corporate speak because I don't know. I find I get a lot of corporate speak in my academic life, which I find kind of gross, but it's helpful. I know it's helpful. So, we have this about us, where at the bottom of each page of at the bottom of all of the forum pages. So I think that's a pretty good start for a mission statement, but I think that's probably our first part, is just what is our mission and who are we serving, and working from there, starting with our public, getting input from them on what they want for us, and then crafting that statement of what we do. And there's also some of that in the bylaws, like who we are and what we're doing as an organization. That's also in there. If you look at the general purpose, we've got section 2.2 of the bylaws gives us again some of that structure for what we for what our purpose is as an organization. So, checking to make sure, I think the first small step is just checking to make sure what we've got out there matches what people expect from us.
All right. So here's what I will, as the chair, create a thread posting what our current mission statement is and asking for feedback on that, so we can have something that we can discuss. I would also like to see, and this was brought up by Pants of the Tal Shiar on the forums, I want all of us to go through our job descriptions, both in the bylaws and on the About Us page, and make sure that they are accurate. I know especially for Chark and I, they're not. The director role is a lot more than the old brand manager role. And they still basically reference the brand manager role. So that needs to be something that we do. I would like to set a deadline of our next board meeting for that to be done. Just everybody to go through it and note what's right and what's not right. You can draft a new one if you want, and then we'll go over all of that at our next meeting. Does that seem like a reasonable task and goal?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I'm selfishly assuming mine's probably easier. I think yours and TJ's are going to be a lot more.
It's just something we haven't
Bidding
really
and
looked at, and if we're going to do this plan, we should touch everything.
Yeah,
so
and
that seems
Maggie's
like
absolutely right too. Maggie's absolutely right too, with the idea that, you start with what are we trying to do as an organization, and then kind of get input from the community and say, A, are we doing that? And B, if we're not, how do we get to the point where we are? It's kind of a little bit of soul searching, I think.
the other suggestion I would like to make, the other proposal I would like to make, is that by 2 board meetings from now, the 6 of us, the 7 of us, in regards to our own departments, have a tentative plan for 2025 in place. Because while I agree that we need to make sure our mission statement and our position descriptions, we also need to be planning, whether it's part of this particular project or not. So my proposal is next board meeting, we've all reviewed our job descriptions, and 2 board meetings away, we all have a tentative plan for next year. So for Chris, that would be tentatively, we know what we're going to be doing worlds wise, continentals wise, promo wise. Justin has a tentative budget. Adam has a tentative project timeline. Chark and I have tentative, what we're doing, so forth. Does that seem reasonable? So, and again, I'm not, Maggie, this is your project. I'm just trying to offer some help here because we've been stalled on this for a while. So
no, I appreciate that. I really do, Charlie. I actually am very, very grateful for you for basically saying, all right, what are we doing here? Like,
yeah,
because
it's you've been busy, and we're all kind of like, we need a plan, and it's like it's time to use the restroom or vacate the restroom type of situation. But but rather than we're waiting for the perfect plan, we just need to start working, and then things can get shaped as we go along. So,
Yeah.
Shark, you were saying something? I didn't mean to
Yeah,
cut you off.
yeah. This is not directly connected to it, but you talked about what we do next year, and one of my problems, I think that's going to Chris, is what about worlds and continentals, and is there any chance that continentals or worlds can be announced earlier? The problem is we now have for next year, Kaiser hosted, suggested he wants to run Worlds next year and asked for general feedback from the community. The problem is if we get the date of Worlds, for example, at the beginning of this year, yeah, we have a problem because a lot of people contact me and say, hey, can we have it earlier? Is there any chance to have it earlier? Because most of the people here in Europe have to make their vacation plans at the end of the year, and then they cannot be changed. Yeah. And if we have more time for the next year, at the end of the year, I have to do my vacations. Other people have to do their vacations, and then the boss fixes it. So I have no chance to go to Worlds because my date finish line was in November last year. We have many people here. Is there any chance that we can, at the end of 2024, announce the worlds or Europeans for the next year? I know that's tricky, but that's something people came to me and asked, is there an option to be more flexible, get it with more time ahead, because we have to do our vacation plans from the boss side. Yeah, we cannot change it. So, and if my boss is not willing to change my vacations, I cannot participate in bigger tournaments. Yeah, and that would be something.
I'm all for it. I mean, I think in my side, what I need to do is get the article that we're soliciting bids up earlier, and I can certainly do that. I mean, the issue that we've had the last few years is we're just not getting a lot of bids, specifically with Masters. So we ended up doing allocations. We're kind of asking people about it and asking them, will, you know, that's just all the logistical issues. But to your point about Worlds for next year, we do have a really good idea of where it's going to be. Timeline, we have a good idea of where that's going to be. And right now, the only reason we haven't openly announced any of that is because we don't want to detract from this year's tournaments.
Yeah, and another suggestion from my side, if we try to do it a little bit earlier, would be if you do not get any bids, maybe it could be more active to ask people. I think last year it was that I thought there was no TUI European Championship, and I just saw it on the board when Brian Sykes told me there's no TUI European planned, and I did it at my home. So if I know it in time, and someone came to me and said it would give me more time, even if I didn't intend to host it, but instead of having no tournament, no Europeans, I would jump in and close the gap. Yeah.
Yep.
So a little bit more time ahead would be really helpful. We have a lot of people who say, "Oh, I would like to come, but my planning for vacation was over last year. I cannot change it." Yeah, I cannot change it. Maybe then 1, 2, 3, 4 people more participating, and for TUI, that's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
I think that part of planning, like planning for 2025, is sort of related, but then part of the long-term plan is we want to announce the date of next year's Worlds at the end of this year's Worlds. Like that is our policy. So then we build everything in our schedules to make sure that happens. So if we want to give people, 3 months to bid, then we start bidding 6 months before, that type of 4 months before. So we have a little wiggle room. Like we need to just build. One of the things I think we need to do is figure out what these benchmarks are and then build our plan around it. And that all has to be written down. And I think that's part of what we're missing right now. It's just, we're all still kind of just winging it.
But
16 years in.
That's a good idea to have Worlds this year, and with the Worlds this year announcing World next year. That would be good.
Yeah, it could be like the last thing that happens at, the World Championship, and then the article goes up the next day on the website saying this is where World 2025 is, 2026. So
yeah.
All right. I did want to briefly touch on the OP materials because we had this fancy presentation at the start of the year, and then things kind of got stalled. We had some production problems. We do have the mats ordered now, and the buttons are almost being ordered. I was waiting on approval of one last change. Once that gets done, I will submit those, and those can get ordered. The good news is, if I am correct about what a 2025 theme is going to be, then those are done already. I did them because I was bored. So I'll follow up on my missing button, and then we'll get those locked in and finished. We didn't get a lot of feedback on that live stream. I personally would really like to see us doing more of that. So if you did get a chance to watch it either live or watch the after show, sound off and let us know if that's the type of thing that you enjoyed. So, did we have any new business that anyone wanted to bring up?
Yeah, actually, I did. League season for 24-25, the league season, because if we're doing any promos at all for now, I needed that information 6 months ago.
Fair.
Yeah. So again, this is part of the production timeline issues.
Well, that's something we got Adam now. We'll figure that all out as part of our long-term plans when our deadlines are. So,
but yeah, Chris, I know I posted something to the organized play forum a couple of months ago, maybe, and didn't really see anything from the OP team. I mean, if the answer is we don't do leagues anymore, that's also something we need to tell the public. So if we're going to do a new league model, or we're going to stick to the current league model and make kits, or if we're going to, or stop altogether, I think the public just needs to know what's happening there.
All right, so I will put this as an agenda item on our next meeting, and we will decide by then. How about that? We will use our next agenda meeting to make those announcements. So we have the next 6 weeks or so to solicit feedback if we want and discuss ideas. So I do have an idea I've been promising to write up for a while. I haven't done it. I will make that a priority. So, was there anything else new business-wise? I do have a number of comments in the YouTube chat, almost entirely about TUI. So I will forward those over to you, Chark, to answer in a different context. Just because it's a discussion between two people and I don't really want to read the whole thing. So I'll forward those to you, Chark, and you can answer them either in our next meeting or however you want to do that. Was there anything else anyone wished to cover? I didn't see any other suggestions for new business on the forums. So I will ask for a motion to adjourn then.
Also move.
Could I have a second, please?
Second.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
One more. So.
Yep.
Oh, Chris.
All right. Okay. Meeting is adjourned. I am tentatively planning on our next board meeting to be mid-July. We will do our best to get that scheduled and announced sooner than we did this one.
Do it end of July, and Maggie and I will sign in from the same hotel, I think, for the Continental.
It will be sometime in July. I want to do 2 more before Worlds, if possible. I feel like summer is the time for us to get a lot of board business done, and then we need to take advantage of that. So, all right, this meeting is adjourned. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you all later. I'm going to take this meeting offline.